For a lot of vacations, food is one of those make or break items. We just got off of the MSC Meraviglia, and today I want to talk about all of the included food on board. Let's get started. Hi, AJ here from Byte Size Cruises. Today I want to talk about the included food on board the MSC Meraviglia. So this is your main dining rooms, your buffets, and really that's it. Those are the two main places for getting included food on board the ship. So for us, we did have the specialty dining package, so we did not do the main dining room for dinner. However, we did do it for brunch, and we did do it for breakfast, and we did do it for lunch. And then we were in and out of the buffet several times for those meals as well as dinner. This gave us a fairly good sampling of service and food on board the ship. So kind of to start off, as we mentioned in other videos, there was a large group altogether of Chinese passengers. And so this did change the buffet from what we were used to. There was a lot less of the general like Italian food and Indian food that you normally see on board the cruise ship. And there was a lot more fried rice and there was a lot of, General Tso's chicken and all of those typical like Chinese food things that you see. So starting off, we are going to start with the dining room. So the dining room, we ate breakfast there 2 days. We had breakfast there 1 day, we had brunch there 2 days, and we had lunch there 1 day. Service in the main dining room was pretty good. Everything came out kind of normally timed. It did take a little longer than somewhere like the Norwegian. Norwegian's breakfast service is amazing. But, all in all, nothing to complain about with the service. I will say the one thing I did find weird is usually if you ask for like black coffee at lunch or dinner in the main dining room, they just bring you like a normal cup of black coffee. Might be in a different cup, but if you do it there, they actually bring you espresso. Thankfully, I didn't get charged for that because that's not what I had wanted. But, they did bring me for my dessert with lunch 1 day a little cup of espresso. So that was interesting. Well, I guess it wasn't espresso. It was probably an Americano, but like there wasn't a ton of water. It was somewhere in between, but it definitely wasn't just like plain black coffee. The food that was served was actually really good. So for brunch, it is a tour. I don't know the word. I can't pronounce it. It was not in English. I think it was Italian, but basically it was like an international tour breakfast. So, or brunch. You had steak and frites from America. You had a bunch of French things, French toast, crepes, stuff like that. I will say for the brunch, there are not a lot of non-egg options. And that's really common for breakfasts, but usually there's like a couple more things to pick from. Sometimes there'll be biscuits and gravy or something like that, which would have been a great American dish to include on the menu. However, there wasn't even, for the brunches, they didn't have like salmon bagels on there. So I ended up, there was a Indian dish that I had that was really good. It was like chickpeas, it was vegan, it was amazing, but it was heavier than I wanted for brunch, but that's okay. It was really good. And then the second day I just had a bagel with cream cheese because you could order those separately. So keep that in mind if you are going to brunch for the more breakfast side and you don't eat egg, that is a thing to worry about. However, they also had grilled cheese and tomato soup, which I do wish I had tried. That looked really good. The Indian food I did have was amazing there. First brunch, we got sat at a group table where we were with 4 other couples. And then the second time we got sat at an individual table. Same thing for lunch. We were at an individual table, but there was a lovely, I think it was a mother and daughter next to us. And they were great. They were from Philadelphia, and it was really funny for that one because John got the cheesesteak and so did she. And she asked the waiter, she's like, "Is this a real Philly cheesesteak?" And he's like, I don't know. So they got it. It was actually pretty good. It was steakums. So it was closer than a lot of cheesesteaks that you end up getting places that aren't Philly. So yeah, all of the food there was great. Service was good. It was busy, but things kept moving and the food came out really well. In the buffet, madness. So trying to get a cup of coffee in the buffet in the morning, if you're not there super early, is a Herculean task. It's kind of going from, one day we went up there for a late, kind of a brunchish type feel. We went up at like 10:30 and I went to 4 different coffee stations before I found one that was being changed over and stopped and got the coffee. And that's where we learned that the late morning coffee maker is better than the early morning coffee maker when it comes to making the coffee. But I mentioned it on the live stream for any of those who watched, but the coffee on board MSC is one of the few that I do not default put sweetener in. So when I'm at home, I will add like vanilla to my coffee, but I don't typically add sweetener. Same thing in the office, I just drink it black. I have no problem with black coffee. I like black coffee. I just also really like vanilla. So I don't often use sweetener, but there is some coffee you really need it in. I also, for a disclaimer, for anybody who cares about the coffee situation, I don't like light or medium roast. I am a dark roast person. So that being said, MSC was not a default put Splenda in it. Instead, I would try it first. It was a delicious roast. It was really good. There was just some people who don't know how to make coffee who are making coffee. Other than that, breakfast was a pretty standard affair. There was fried rice on the buffet for breakfast, and that was a little strange at times, but they had biscuits and gravy. The one day I didn't get to try it. I am not a breakfast person in general. My stomach takes a couple hours to wake up. But there was, what I do really like is that they have different types of cream cheese up on the buffet. So there was cream cheese with chives, there was regular cream cheese, there was a fish salad, kind of a lox feel. And then there was like paprika cream cheese. So did really love that. There was also eggs your way, all the very typical breakfast things. Everything was being changed over regularly. The bagels were actually kind of like you had to run up there when they put them out to get them because they were toasting them for you, which I actually really like because then you don't have small children standing in front of the toaster oven just like it drives me bananas. So that was really good. Lunch and dinner, there were limited options of things that I like up there for those. I ended up eating a lot of pizza. The pizza was fantastic. Tip for you, during lunch specifically, there is a back section of the buffet. And in general, if you go to the back section of the buffet, it's a little quieter. That's also where, if all the other coffee's out, you can typically find some. But there's a second pizza stand in the back corner. And they have different pizza than what's in the front, with more options. So I would often go back there. The pizza is hands down the best pizza on a cruise ship. It is pizza that I would pay for on land. Most of the other pizzas are kind of like Domino's level quality. Some of them lower than Domino's, but for the most part, you know, they're okay, but it's not something that I'm like, I would pay extra for. This I would have. It was really good. The only one that comes close is Princess, and Princess fell short of MSC's, but very good pizza. They also had burgers and hot dogs and French fries out most of the time, so you could still grab that. There were some safe foods. And then the other thing that I really liked about them is they had a solid salad section. Their Caesar is amazing. Their lettuce was really fresh, which sometimes isn't always the case. And I ate that a lot because, you know, eating pizza. You have to balance that out. Last, I want to touch on desserts. So the desserts on board in general are really good. The one day that the dessert was not great was the day that we missed Ocean Key. And I think that what happened is that they basically like that day, all of the desserts tasted like they had been frozen up until a few seconds before they were put on the table. And And I think that because they had to quickly change gears, that had something to do with it. The flavor was great. It just had that kind of like vibe of having just been frozen. Otherwise, desserts were awesome across the board. No complaints. They were so good. So I know that MSC gets a bad rap for food a lot of the time, but in our experience, they did a great job this cruise. And I feel like in the last few years, they have really brought the food forward and kind of turned it around. I absolutely would eat more in the main dining room and the buffet where I on the ship. I wouldn't be scared of not having a dining package. All in all, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, throughout this video, I've given some shots of what I ate, and all of it was really good. There was only one thing I didn't end up finishing, and that was a mushroom pasta, and no, it wasn't mushroom. I'm sorry. It was a clam pasta, and I don't like clams. Spoiler alert. So that was a dumb thing to pick. But yeah, that was really it. So yeah, thank you for listening. If you liked this video, I ask you please like and subscribe, especially as we're trying to grow this channel. If you want to know John's thoughts on included food, you can head over to the main channel and he will have his there, and you can see whether we matched up or not. We did not talk about our reviews before doing them, so it's a fun little experiment to see what each of us thought, unbidden and unswayed by the other person. All right, thank you guys again, and I will see you next time. Bye.